this relates to their motivation or ability to get work, but also how it may be linked to segregation and discrimination in Czech society. The phrase ethnic minority is a sociological term that refers to a small group of people that do not belong to the nation's majority group. In the Czech Republic, there are four main groups of ethnic minorities. There are Roma, Ukraine, Slovakian and Vietnamese. We can see that in the graph, the largest minority group are Ukraine immigrants, closely followed by other, which includes various other minorities, but mainly Roma citizens.
Okay, Ukrainians. They're officially the first biggest minority in Czech Republic. Their history in Czech Republic is very, very long. Actually, in Austro-Hungarian monarchy, there were already Ukrainians in this area. Then in the first Czechoslovak Republic, Ukrainians were a very important ethnic group because actually part of today's current Ukraine was so-called Carpathian Ukraine or Subcarpathian Rus was part of the first Czechoslovak Republic. So there are many organizations for Ukrainians, or they had their own schools. After the war, there was a migration wave to this area because of Soviet army that came to Ukraine. There was Ukrainian minority also during the communism. After 1988, 89, more and more Ukrainians were coming. The reason is better wages and better conditions in general. They're usually employed as workers, builders, etc. Nowadays, there are over than 100,000 Ukrainians here in Czech Republic. Majority society sees Ukrainians in a very positive way, probably because of their high working morality.
Yeah, and the Slovakians are not a big problem in the Czech Republic because they have always been in the country. And the statistic shows the result of how many Slovakians that have been in the Czech Republic since 1921. And as you see, in 1950, there was 2.9%. As you see, in 1950, 2.9% of the Czech Republic population was from Slovakia. In 1993, after the separation between the Czech Republic and Slovakia, the percentage fell because they had the chance to choose which country they want to belong. So you see, in 2001, the percentage was only 1.9%. So 94% of Slovakians in the Czech Republic have permanent residence, which means they live here in a longer period. And 86% are official citizens. So the reason why there are so many Slovakians in the Czech Republic is because of the rules within the EU, which means that people who live in the EU can choose to work in other EU countries.
The Vietnamese came to the Czech Republic during the communist regime. This was due to the bilateral agreement made by the communists between Czech Republic and Vietnam. This agreement meant that they had to cooperate and work labour. However, the Velvet Revolution in 1989 meant that the formal agreement had become invalid, so many had to return back home. Majority of the Vietnamese came to Czech Republic to work and study, as they see it as a much more advanced country. Many were employed in machinery, building and textiles departments. They are seen as very hard-working people, but they're very close communities. So today there's around 60,000 Vietnamese in Czech Republic, but only 30,000 have permanent residency. This week we found out that at TCPA, when they had to get rid of people, they made Vietnamese redundant because they were only temporary workers.
Okay, so the Roma minority. Let's start with the survey. As you can see, 83% of Czech Christian people think that Roma people are an unacceptable group of people. From this group, 45% of people think that Roma people should live in immediately Czech Republic. Then, over 19% of people shared the opinion that Roma people are responsible for all criminality in the Czech Republic. And the same percentage thinks that Roma people have polluted the environment. So, Roma people, commonly known as gypsies, is one of the main ethnic minorities in the Czech Republic. Roma minority is probably the biggest minority there, because there are, in the Czech Republic, there are about there are about 155,000 inhabitants. But the problem is that people think, the Roma people think that they are living here, but so they think that they are Czech people, so there is no exact count of them. Only about 50,000 of Roma people say that they are Jesus. Roma people originally in India, and they arrived in the 14th century to Europe. During the Second World War, there was a Holocaust, and over 99% of Gypsies died in the concentration camps. During the communist era, Roma women were sterilized. So about the problem. People think that Roman people are violent, so no one wants to give them a job. The second problem is the low knowledge. So this is the problem why they haven't got any job. And there's a problematic regions in the northern part of India.
Now, as you can see on the screen, we will talking about employment and unemployment. In Czech Republic, unemployment is not a result of only discrimination, but of the lack of basic education, socialization, integration from the young age into the society, and a difficult economic situation, and because of discrimination of the employers. As you know, for instance, half of the Roma population is unemployed, and I will try to explain why. First, we can also say that minorities in Czech Republic are not socialized as other Czech because they live part of the society and often in bad situations like no electricity, water, or no food enough. And you can see that obviously they're not living with Czech population, and the problem is also lack of basic education because minority child children don't have enough education, so later they can have a top job, and often the only job available for them is manual job like building and building job. But this job don't need lots of qualification, so they are not really needed in the job market because everyone can do this kind of job. Moreover, we can say that children for this minority don't come early to school, only at 6, so they don't know the culture and the habits of Czech people, and the difficult economic situation doesn't help too much because minority live like the other Czech in the country, and this country have 9% of unemployment rate. it can happen. It can happen at the moment of the job interview that the employer have a job process and don't want to take, for instance, Roma people because it might think that these people are violent or if these people will work in factories they will steal and so on.
Effectively, we can think that the situation will be better if the education minority assert with more serious. These people will have the eventual advantage of the skill against the discrimination, and even if the graduates can change everything, like mentality, that will be already a nice solution to a better rise of unemployment for the minorities. Here we have some points to explain the situation. Explain just the third. First, when we speak about the integration, it's come to school integration, and this will involve by parents who don't repeat the same school failure, I think. So, but the parents have strengths of needs of help and attention, especially from the government, which must make concrete action against the segregation on behalf of equality. Then, when we talk about the prevent, this consequence, as what I just said, in fact, in the minority was more easily integrated at the school when child will be a bit of this difference that it's not longer see. And I believe sincerely that if done in the youngest age, it will grow more efficient.
Yeah, so this week we have found out that there is a strong sense of anti-Roma culture and ideology in the Czech Republic. There's also the ethnic minorities are the first to be kicked out when the funding is low. And thirdly, the common belief that Romas were behind crime, it was in fact incorrect according to the mayor in Budnova.
We thought of a few ways in which the Czech Republic or similar nations could improve segregation of ethnic groups in society. We suggested that if you offer kindergarten to improve early socialisation of Roma children, you can tackle the differences by distilling sort of similar values and ideas. We said as well, if you actively promote positive stereotypes, they're less likely to fall prey to the ideas such as they are responsible for crime, and you're more likely to accept them in society. And if you run events that celebrate all the differences in society, it's just a lot